Hey everyone, today's video is about data cleaning project, handling missing values and outliers. So these are all the topics we will cover in this video. Welcome to your very first cleaning adventure. As you start working with the real world data, you will quickly learn that it's rarely perfect. It's often messy with problems that needed to be fixed. Today, we are going to learn how to be data detectives, finding and fixing two of the most common issues, missing values and outliers. Our mission is to take this messy data and make it clear and perfect for the analysis. So, why is data cleaning so important? Think of it like cooking. If you are trying to bake a cake but you are missing half of the ingredients or have some bad ones, the final cake isn't going to be turn out well. The same is true for the data. If you use messy, incomplete, or incorrect data, the insight you will get be, will be wrong, and any model you will build on it will be unreal. Data cleaning is a crucial first step to ensuring you get accurate and trustworthy results. Our first problem is to solve missing values. These are simply blank spaces in our dataset where information should be. Maybe a customer didn't fill out their age on the form, or a sensor failed to record a temperature. These values is left as they are can cause your code to crash or give an incorrect result. So we have to find them and decide what to do with them. The first step is always to identify the problem. Luckily, our friend Pandas makes this incredibly easy. We can use a special function called isNull, which tells us exactly which cell are empty. We can then combine these with the dot sum function to get quickly count of the how many missing values are present in each column. This gives us a clear picture of the problem and helps us to decide our next step. Once we know where the missing values are, we have two main options. Option 1, if there are only a few missing values in a large dataset, we can simply remove the entire row. This is called dropping the data. Option 2, a more common approach is to find and fill the blank spaces. We will fill the empty spots with a logical value, like the average of the column, the most common value, or even a zero. The right choice depends entirely on the type of the data you are working with. I will show you how to deal with these kind of problems and handle the missing values. Simply start Anaconda Navigator. So this is Anaconda Navigator. Simply start Jupyter Notebook. Here we create a new file. Here we are, our Jupyter notebook. So today we will work on this dataset. Wait, I will show you. Just a second. It's a CSV file. Here, this is our dataset. Today we will work on this. Just a second. No. So you can see that there are four different columns: date and day, like this, temperature, wind speed, and event. And there are some missing values. At the place of missing values, I just wrote an AN, just as a null value, missing value. Okay, back to our coding part. So just I imported the pandas as PD, and then I redid the CSV file. Here, here this is our CSV file. And one more thing I will show you. If you see the what data type of this day column is, it will show string. As you can see here, I will run it again for you. Just a second. Here you can see string. As it's not an Excel file, that's why it's showing string. So before moving forward to work with this data, we have to convert this string into a number part or a date or time data type. To convert this, we simply have to do this. Just we have to change in our path, reading path file. We have to place dates. And then we have to give the column name. It's day. It's capital D. Then now, here you can see the date and time column has changed. And if we run this again, you can see it shows pandas lives and time and timestamp. The data type is changed. So let's move forward with working this data. And one more thing, if you just have to update your original dataset at this line also. df dot set index day, and to update your original dataset, write in place is equal to true. If you don't r- write this in place equals to true, it will create a copy or a different dataset and didn't even update your original dataset. Simply run this. Okay, just a second. It's capital D, my mistake. Here you can see now your original dataset is updated. And let's moving forward. We will, we will start with simple a function called fill n. So for this, I will create a new dataset. I'm not updating the current dataset because I have to change this or use different functions again and again. That's why I am making a new dataset for each different function. df dot fill n. This is the function fill n, and then you simply have to print df and Let me run this. One thing I will show you, as this is showing the value error. This is because we just this is because we didn't provide any value here. What we have to put if the column has no value, then we simply put here 0. Now you can see at all the places where I put the value as NaN or there is a missing value, it's swapped with 0. As I put here 0, each value is swapped with 0. This is the one way to fill the missing values. But as you can see, it's not the proper way or the best way to fill the values, as it's not possible if one day has the temperature of 32 and then it's drops to 0, then again is 28 and it again drops to 0. Climate didn't change like this quickly. Huh? So we just a second. Cancel this. So if you one more thing, I will show you. If you change here anything like 5, it will replace all the values with the 5. Anything you put here, it replaces with that. So now we see more events or more methods to fill the missing values. And one more thing, as you can see here, there are different columns and these are different types, data types, as it's for temperature. All parameters are different, wind speed and event. If we simply use this function fill NA, it fills all the missing values with 0. It's not good if we changing the temperature value as 0, also the wind speed as 0, and even the event is at 0. So if we have to change a particular column or fill a particular columns missing values, so I will show you. Simply, I am creating this. We will use dictionary method. Just fill NA and then brackets and curly brackets. We will create a dictionary where we can specify which column we have to change or which columns value we have to provide or put. Just first column is temperature. We will put temperature as 0 and then we will speed also 0 and then event. As event is uh, a thing or a season or a climate, so we don't put as simply 0, as it's not a integer value or a numerical value. So we'll put here as no event. Simply print new here. Now you now you will see here. Here what's the difference? See the temperature and temperature column here and temperature column here. Nothing has changed. As I mentioned, 0 only. If I change here by 2, then only the temperature column's value of 0 has changed to 2, not the wind speed. Wind speed remains 0 as I given the value as 0 here. And for the event, I given the value as no event. That's why it's showing us no event here and no event here. This is one more method. You can fill any missing values, but still it's not at as much accurate as other methods because if we have a very large data set, we can determine all or give all the values as a same or the give event as no event. So we will see more methods for this. I will show you one more method. So once again, new df equals to df dot fill na. It's also the fill na method with little upgradation, or you can say I modify its parameters. Still here the function is same as df dot fill na. Then in the parameter section we mention as method, and we will use the method f fill. It's for forward filling. I will show you how the values are changed. Then I will tell you what is changed in their values. New df. So you can see here the value or the original value is 32. Here the 32. This is the missing value. As I changed, you can see here it's the missing value. And in this, the value is replaced, missing value is changed or replaced by 32. If we use fill, the forward fill method, it copies the previous data and shift to the next data if the column is empty or the data is not there. It simply copies the previous row's data and shift to the next data. Here you can see I will print both the well, just a second. I will print both of them. Just below this here. Mm, This, this, one second. I will print here. Here you can see. You can simply see the difference where the missing values are. It simply copies the values from the previous data and moves to the column of the missing value or the point of the missing value. Here the data is missing. It copies the 9.0 from the previous and moves to next data 9.0. And like this, also snowy, and it's moved to snowy here. Like this only, it changed the all the data. It copies the data from the previous row of the same column. And if we use backfill method, it's same as like this only. Just print here, and here's the B fill. B fill used for backward filling, and just run this. You can see the data is now copied from the next value set and pasted on the missing value. You can see here, here's the 28 and here's the missing value. You can see the 28 remains the same, the 28 value, and at the place of missing value, it changes with the 28 degree. Okay, like this only. Here's the snow after the missing value, then rain, and here's the snow, then missing value is replaced with the range. In backward filling, it changes the value with the next data set, and in the forward filling, it changes the value with the previous data. You can see at 32, 32, 28, and here's the 32. This is the original data set, and here's the missing value, then 20. But in backward filling, here's the 32 and 28, 20. Just this 28 replaced the missing value here. Here you can see all the values are placed like this only. And in this, the data is shifted from next row or the previous row. There is one more parameter you can add in this only. So you can shift the data from the column itself. We will start with backward filling only, and we use a parameter called axis. Axis equals to column, columns, and simply run this. Just a second. Now you can see here in this the value is shifting from the first row to the next row or the uh, row one row to its previous row. But if we use, just give me just a second, I will plug my PC to charge. So here you can see the values are shifting from first row to next row or the row to its previous row. The data is shifting like this. But if we added the axis equals to columns, it changes the data from columns. As we use the backward fill method, it takes the data from column and shift it to its previous column only. I will show you the, wait a second, I will show you both the data set like this. Then you can understand easily. As you can see here, its value is 9.0. This is the missing value part. The value is copied from here and shifted to its back or the previous column. Like this, the value is changed snowy and the wind speed is changed to snow. As its value is NaN, its value is null. That's why the data is copied from here and shifted to its previous column. And similarly, if you use this and simply changes to backward filling to forward filling and run this code, you can see here, uh, see, you can see here, the value is 7.0 and here's the missing value. Now you can see the value changes to 7.0 only as the data from a column is shifted to its next column. In backward filling, using the access method, it's shifted to its previous, but if we use forward filling using access method, it changes to its next column, shifted to its next, as the data is missing from this column part only. So I will show you one more thing. As we use access method, we also have a method called limit. If we have uh, data, missing data in adjacent columns like this. This is the missing data, and there is also the missing data. And if we don't want to change data from both of this, or we just simply want to change data only for one without changing else, without changing the next one, I will show you here. You can see if we simply use the forward filling, it changes the data from this is the 32, these both are null values. It changes the data of both the null values. And if we only want to change only one or only at a single place value, so we have to use the limit method. Simply copy this and I will show you. Just removing the access method and here limit is equal to 1. Now you can see this is our original dataset and it's the value 32 and other next two are missing. And if we limit it as 1, only one column has changed. You can see here it's the original value 32 with the date of 2025 07 and 01. Is the 2025 07 01. It's the original value and its next two are null values, missing values. And with that, this is the original and next two are missing. But if we use the limit method and we use forward filling only also, so only data is copied to one column. If we change here the limit, like if we change it with 2, then you can see the data is changed in both the columns. That's how the limit function works. Okay, so moving forward, like this, you can also interpolate the values, the missing values. It actually gives around the centermost, or it gives the value in between value of the previous value and the next value. Simply print this, and we don't have to use the fill-in method now. We will use interpolate. L-O-T-L-E, interpolate method. Just simply run this. You can see here, it's not like that. Keep copying from previous value and pasting in the next, or like this. In interpolate method, the value, the missing value is replaced with the value which is in between the previous value and the next value. The 30.00, it's in between 32 and 28. As there is only single value, that's why it's almost giving us the centermost value here. As you can see here, two values are missing. So in between 32 and 34, it first check which value is in between them, then it's put here and then here. You can see here, if the value is 32 and 34, these two values are the original values. It firstly checks between these two values how many columns are missing, and then in between values it gives us as 32 and 33.33. This is the centermost value, and for 32.66 and 34, this is the centermost value. Similarly, like this only, it gives here also. One drawback is it's only works on a number dataset or integer values. Like you can see here, not only the integer value or the numerical values like float or long. Like you can see here, the values of the events, rain, sunny, cloud, it didn't change. The missing value is still missing here. And one more thing, you can see the date here is 1 and for next it's 4. It's more close to its next date, it's 5. So it's not good enough to showing the temperature is exactly in between the previous date and the next date. As the temperature is more should be on the next date as the date is 5 and it's more nearer to 4 than 1. So it's not accurate method to fill the missing values. I will show you how to change this to make it more accurate. Just don't have to do a very hectic method. Simply, we have to use this method only and change its parameters. As previously there is no parameter, then we will give it a parameter and parameter is time. It work accordingly as the time value. Now you can see the 32, 30 and 28. These 30 is replaced, the missing value is replaced according to its previous 32 and next 28. Now it's replacing according to the previous value and the next value, but it also considering the time, the date at which more closer to its value. As it's 04, it's date 4 and next is 5. That's why it's giving us the temperature as 29, not nearer to 30, 31 like this, because it's a larger difference 01 to 04 than 04 to 05 as it's the next date. All the columns are working like this only. So if we add the parameter method as the time, it's it's changed according to the time given in the dataset. But still, if we is not good enough as it's not giving the value for the event as it's still the missing value. It's showing the null. And one more thing, if we want to drop the data from the data set, as you can see here, some data is if we have the like take an example if we have data of 5 columns and we have missing one or two column, then it's okay. We can add using different methods. We can add the data. But if the data is of 5 columns and it's even missing for 3 to 4 columns are missing, then we it's better to drop this data only. So in this data set, you can see here the date of 2025 901. The data is of 4 column, but both the temperature and wind speed data is missing. So I rather drop this data to make my data set more accurate to even for filling the data set. So to drop the data set, you can use the method called drop NA. Drop NA. If you simply run drop NA, you can see here even is if there is any single missing value in the data set, I will show you that original data set. Here you can see a single value is missing. It dropped there. There is only also missing. Even if a single value is missing, the data set in the data set, then it's got dropped. So you can see it's not the perfect method to drop our dataset as we can if there is only single value missing we can add that later on, but if we have to drop, so we can drop even all the data, even a single column is missing. So for this we use drop NA. Just a second, I will simply copy this and paste. I am copying and pasting to save the time, okay? So don't do that only. Try to type and grab your hands-on, take hands-on on the coding part also. Just a second, drop and we will add a parameter in this how equals to all and see what it's done. It only drops the data which is missing almost all the columns. In which maximum columns are missing, it only drops that data only. As you can see, there are this much and the data from the ninth, day 9. You can see here NA, all the data from are missing with temperature, wind speed, and temperature. Sorry, temperature, wind speed, and event. All the three data is missing in here. Then it dropped that date at 08 and it's go the next rate is 010, sorry 10. It dropped the whole row, whole data from the ninth day as the maximum values are missing only. Even if the two values are missing, it's still there. We can add this only also, but if all the data is missing, we have to drop that as if all the data is missing, we can't randomly give or put the data there. So we will drop that. And there is also like to drop the data, there is also one method, just removing the how method to threshold. Threshold method and we will give the threshold one. Threshold one means it only remains the only remaining data is if all the data is present and if only single data is missing. I will show you like this. You can show it. Okay. Oh, sorry. So for the threshold, you can see here if we use the threshold as a parameter and give its value as 1, it only draws the data which didn't have even a single parameter given. Like as in the previous also the ninth is dropped as ninth don't have any parameter. That's why in this also the ninth has dropped. If we change the threshold to 1 to 2, you you see here only that data is remain which in which we have or more than mm, two or more than two data set or the data values are given. You can see here ninth is dropped, and with this eighth is also dropped as there is two data values are missing. Only a single data value is given of the sunny data set. That's why eighth is also missing. And for this sixth is missing because this and temperature and event part is missing. That's why the data set from the data set this row is dropped. As we increase the threshold to second to because it only is the data in which maximum two, minimum two or more data is given. If we change this to three, I'm just doing for exploring the data. You can, it's a good habit, to check whether if we change this data to another, what happens. It is good practice. Simply we can change to three. You can see here only three data rows are present as it these are only the rows in which all data is present. It look like similar to this in which we drop all the null values or the null rows in which even a single missing value is present. Okay, we'll simply change this to now. Once again, I will show you the dataset. Here you can see there is a gap between 1 and 4. If we want to add all the data or we just simply want to add the data or add the gap between 1 to 4, we can use this method. We'll change as straight. Yeah. As we have a range which is missing. The range is starting from first to fourth, and we want to add the data of that range, particular range. We simply use the function data underscore range and adding the parameter, we will provide the date from which these are missing. 01 and the month is January 2025. From this to we have the date of just we have the date of 04 month is January of the year 2025. Okay, this is our date. We had provided the range. Now simply we will change it to daytime index. I will index this to dot daytime index and give the parameter new there and simply tf dot as we are updating this data set only we will add two more columns for the date 0 to 2nd January and 3rd January. So that's why I am using DF only. I am updating the original dataset, re-index, and I will give its parameter as IND adds. I have changed here only and print here. Just a second. What will Pandas do? It's date range, not data range. I mistakenly changed that. Okay. Just change this. Okay. It is simply print IND. It's giving all the data, all the dates. You want to print okay. I have changed the value. The format is date, and month, date, and year. I by mistakenly changed the format. That's why it's not working. And now, if we use this only, okay, you can see it adding the date second and third to this range. Now, I will show you how to work with replace function. We will do this all again, just copying this and simply we will paste here. And for this, visualize it. Distort. This I also import numpy as np. Simply run this. This is our dataset. So now we will use the replace function. We will create a new data frame equals to df.replace. Now we see how replace function works. I simply change it, change a little parts in our dataset. So you can see here, I replaces the values or the missing values with the random values 111 or 222 and no event. These are all the missing values. We will see now how the replace function works. If we simply want to change or the replace the value 111 with np dot name as its a numpy function or a numpy value, null value, it changed all the random values of the temperature column 111 to give it the null value. Simply run this code and you can see let's use npn instead. Okay, we, as with the update, the attribute had changed to nan. Here you can see the error is because as the code updates or the library updates, little changes are there. That's why the error is showing. I changed that and I used NaN. And here you can see all the random values of 111 is replaced with the null values NaN. Similarly, you can also change the values of wind speed of 222 with NaN or anything you want. I will show you by replacing both the values. Simply copy this again and paste it. And if you want to change both value together, you can change it like this. Make it as and list and second value is 222. We also want to change the value of 111 and 222 with NaN. Okay, null values. You can see the value of 222 also changed to null values with NaN. Both the values, both the column values are changed. You can add any amount. You can add not only two. If you want to change any value with an random value, you can change it like this. I will taking example of 6. As here the wind speed is 6. Using this, it also change the value of wind speed from 6 to 0. Among 6 to null values, there is no data here. That's why we simply change to 0 as we don't have. If we any zeros present, then we can simply change this to NA. And if we want to change a particular value, as if we only want to change the value of the event, or if we want to change any particular value of a particular column, so we can use the dictionary method as we used the dictionary earlier, df and df dot replace. Here we simply have to create a dictionary. In dictionary, our first column is temperature, and we will give the temperature value What's the value? It's one over. Okay, just uh, next column is wind speed. Wind speed. Its value is 222, and last column event. And we will change the value of no event. No event to we all want to change these value to numpy's and NaN. Numpy's no value, and we will print new df. Here you can see it changes the value of 222, and there is an okay. It's RE. That's why it's not change the value of temperature. This it's URE. It's a simple spelling mistake, typing mistake. And here you can see the value of temperature is changed to null values, and then all the random 111 are changed, and 222 are also changed. And even in the event section, where the all the places where there is no event is changed with NA as the null values. There is no event present, and we can also use the replace function to replace all the string letters or all the random values present in our data. Like I will show you underscore DA this, and then we will give it the string which we want to remove. And if you want to remove any type of string, you can use A to capital Z, it's capital A to capital Z, any word with these letters or these characters, or small a to small z. Any word or correct sentence or string with these characters will replace by a blank, a space or blank you can see, and we will use it as true and simply print here. Here you can see as I changed the values or I said that any characters or any string using capital A to capital Z or small a to small z will replace by single space or blank the event section. Here you can see the event section is replaced by the blank. There is nothing here as all these are strings. That's why the event section is completely blank. And if we use this only, if we simply use this, and in this we use this. I will just try something else. Just never mind it. We can also use particular points, or we can use the dictionary to update or change any particular event in the given array or given data set. I'm just copying the dictionary from the outside, just changing it with this. Once again, I'm saying I'm just copying because I want to save the time. You guys just do practice, okay? As coding is fun. You can, if you code access, if you code on your pace, you I definitely tell you will like that. And for event section, we will remove the event section, as if it remains the blank, then it the column is no, for no use. That's why we will make the event section like this only. And we don't want to replace with null values. We want to replace with simple blank space, and x equals to true, and we will print this. You can see here the event section remains the same. One thing you notice, there is nothing changed, as there is nothing or no string data type present in the temperature section or the wind speed section. That's why you see there is nothing. But is if there is or anything is present in this, I will show you simply by updating the data set. Okay. Uh, I will just say Miss A and with this capital B and saving this. Okay. Now you see, if I run this, before running this, I have to run that. Just, like a fill and a method, replace method. I have to run that only. Then here you can see the letter A and capital B. The data set is updated. Now I run this code. You see here there is A and there is B. Okay. For this, simply enter. Now I will show you how to work with the mode function. For this, we will create a data set. Okay. Uh, just a second. We will create a data frame for this. dd dot data frame, and in the data frame we'll provide two columns, score exceptional and average, good, poor, average, and is the second column student, and for this I will use Bob, Tom, Ida, and just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We have to use 6 students here. Erika, here, with 4, and John, and Lucy. We will use these students and simply print zero. And you can see here this is our data set. And you can also use the replace function like this. Uh, df dot replace f2a and average. We have to give all the data we provided in here, and the last one is exception. You can change this with the number. You can change your all the data like we have provided the poor, good, average, and exceptional with the numbers or anything else you want to like. I am changing, giving the number 1 to poor, 2 to average, 3 to good, and number 4 to exceptional. Just simply printing DF. Here you can see score. The data is changed. Data set the At all the places where the exceptional is present, the data is changed to false. And for the average, it changed to 2, good for 3, and poor for 1. Here you can see. Erica is a little poor girl. It's, it's okay. I'm just joking around. Don't take it seriously. And in this, we also add one more column, the gender column. I simply change or add gender column here only. Gender column. Bob is male, Tom, just a second. I if you make Tom as female and you list the gender of Ada and then Erica is female, John is male, and Lucy is female. Simply run this. Okay, there's a missing value here. Simply like this. You miss the value here, the Ada. And if you want to add the gender here, so when this search, we can use the mode function. Simply, we will first check in the dataset and we go with gender. And in this, we will use fill NA in dataset and it's, gender and simply use mode function and we check which value is. For showing you how the mode function works, I simply updated our previous dataset and I use a random value of probability as true and that's an empty space and false. We will use this dataset only. I will again copy this and simply here paste it in and then this. Here you can see the name, the null values. Now we have to fill these values using the mode function. So for the mode function, you simply have to use df and its probability dot fill na with df probability dot mode and function and the value which is happening the most. Here you can see the mode function simply I will first show you simply like this, most. And here, if I print most, I don't know why I print most again. And now you can see the mode function. Mode function simply calculate the number of event or the condition which is given, like here the probability, anything like we previously we were using the gender. There is male or female, okay, and there is a missing value. The mode function calculate the occurrence of both of the events, like the male and the female. It will calculate that there is two male and three females, and then for the random value, it will calculate or fill that blank space with the value which is occurring the most. Like in this data set, there is true, true, and false, 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 and true, false. There are three truths and four times there is false. That's why for these two missing values, the mode function filled it with false. Here the true and then false and false. This is the first missing value, and then false and again false. This is false and this is the second missing value. This is how the mode function works. It calculates the occurrence of all the events and then fill the missing values with the event which is present or occurs the most of the time. Now I think this is enough for today about the practical part. Let's go back to our presentation. Moving forward with our presentation, outliers. Our second common problem is outliers. An outlier is a data point that is extremely different from the other values in the dataset. Like this. Imagine you have a list of a student age and everyone is in between 18 to 22. But then you see a value of 150. That's an outlier. They can be caused by a simple data entry error like a typo, or they represent a real but very rare event. They can easily mess up with your analysis by throwing off your averages. Like this, an example of an outlier. This is the whole group. These two are a bit apart from the group. That's why these are the outliers. I will show you some more examples. Here you can see data like this. Uh, the data all lies in a linear pattern, but this is a out from the data line like this and outlier. Similarly, these all the data points in between these are the main data points, and the other points which are at this stage or at this position are the outliers. Simply, I will show you like this is a good example. This is a crowd, and some of the people are standing outside the crowd. So these are outliers, and these are the main data set. Similarly, like this, only this one is shouting. All these are calm and silent. So this is an outlier. So, how do we find these odd one outs? One of the best ways is to use a visual tool called the Boxplot. You can see here how this looks. A box plot gives us a clear picture of a range of data. Any data points that fall far outside of the main box and the whisker are flagged as outliers. We can also use simple maths, like for values that are certain numbers of the steps away from the average. As I have shown you the box plot example, this is a box plot example. Data all between these box are the main range, and data outside the particular lower maximum number or the lowest number is the outliers. Just like that, miss, with missing values, we have a few options for handling outliers. Option 1. If we have certain it's a mistake, like a typo, you can simply remove that data point. Option 2. If it's a real but unusual value, like a person who is truly 120-year-old, you might decide to keep it but make a note of it. Option 3. You can cap the value, which means replacing it with more logical number, like the highest or the lowest value that seems responsible. It's a judgment call that requires you to just certify about your data. Congratulations! You just completed your first data cleaning project. You now have the skills to identify and handle two or two of the biggest problem in any dataset. You will use dot isnal method to find and then drop all the missing values. And you will also visualize like a box plot to find outliers, decide whether to remove, keep, or change them. These are the fundamental skills that every data professional uses daily. Happy cleaning. Thank you.